Greetings and salutations. It's back to time to talk about the history of things. In this case, looking at the rise and the fall of Fox Studios Animation. When it comes to the world of animation and their studios that distribute them, we usually think of Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar, and Illumination.
Illumination. Illumination.
However, at one point in the past, Fox had its own animation production company. Let's look at how it started and its eventual closure after only releasing 3 films. Well, in a way. You've probably heard of animators Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. The duo who would create classic animated films that captured generations with films such as The Secret of NIMH, as well as The American Tail.
Out there beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight.
And many other classic films. The duo were hired by Bill Mechanic, who was the chairman of 21st Century Fox, to create an animation studio for the company. Along the way, Stephen Brain as the general manager to oversee the operation of it. So when exactly did this company first start in a way or form? In August 9th, 1994. The company was created as a way to compete against Walt Disney Feature Animation, who in the late 1980s to the early 1990s were going through their renaissance for films such as The Little Mermaid.
I could be part of that world.
Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King.
Everybody look left, everybody look right. Everywhere you look, I'm standing in the spotlight. Not yet.
However, before the studio animation produced its films, Fox released films during the 1990s that were out of studio with films such as Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest in 1992, The Page Master, starring Macaulay Culkin, and in a way which really weren't financially successful. But what was the first film that they had released under this label? The first film that they would release was Anastasia.
Rasputin.
Rasputin. Destroyed by your despicable family. But what goes around comes around, 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 around.
Which was directed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman, which was a critical and box office grossing film over $140 million against a $53 million budget. However, their next film they would release will be last, in this case being Titan AE.
20th Century Fox invites you to enter a universe without rules, without laws, without limits. After Earth ends, the adventure begins.
Which was also directed by Bluth and Gulman, which was about a young man and a group searching for a ship that can create a new planet before it's destroyed by the bad guys. The film had a budget cost of $75 to $78 million, but it would only be able to make back a total of $36.8 million. Afterwards, there was a huge layoff of workers, consisting of 380. Like, in a way, if we're gonna do the math, that would mean only 80 workers left, and the reason that was the case was to make films more efficiently. So what was, like, the reason of the studio's closure? The biggest reason of all, financial returns. Like, you know, meaning, like, say, like, the returns of, like, say, the films that they would create. Like, after, like, say, they would do other films as well, like, such as Bartok, a Bartok spin-off film, which was the only film, direct-to-video, that Don Bluth and Gary Gulman would actually do. And yeah, there were other films that there were, like, plans to do as well, but some of them really weren't able to see the light of day as well. And eventually, like, say, the next studio that would surpass it, or success it, would be Blue Sky Studios, or Blue Sky Productions. They would do such films as, like, say, the Ice Age films, and many others. But what are your thoughts on the history of Fox Animation production? Do you remember seeing films like Anastasia, or do you remember seeing Titan AE? I remember seeing it, like, on, like, say, like, the local Blockbuster, like, when it came out, but it wasn't really a film that I ever saw. What were your thoughts on this?